everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the Arsenal Fans Forever Women's Show. You are stuck with me again tonight, with Dan. As George's at some social event. I can't remember where he is tonight, but yeah, so you're stuck with us. But thankfully, we do have some fantastic guests tonight. So we have return of the Mel. How are you doing, Mel?
Yeah, I'm not bad. You?
We're all good. Classic retro shirt from Mel there.
Julie
We have
Fleeting on the
Chantel.
back.
Sorry, Mel, go.
Said Julie Fleeting on the back. Who else?
LG Fleeting.
Yeah.
We have Chantel. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself?
Very good, very good. We have Daisy. How are you?
Very good, thank you. I'm back after I missed a week. It was weird not to be here last week, but
We missed you last week. We missed you. I'm not going to make any jokes about Andrew being on time again because they're sort of wearing thin. But we also have Andrew tonight. How are you?
Good evening, Gooners. Thanks for that. Yeah, I was early, surely.
He was early.
So that makes up. I think if I keep coming early enough, I'm making up the minutes.
Yeah. Getting your time back. Yeah. So I haven't got to dock you any pay. Darren is also going to join us, but we are docking his pay because he is running late. We're going to start with last Saturday, which seems like a lifetime ago now. The Everton game. Just to sort of start, I was going to sort of start with you, Daisy. What was your sort of thoughts on the lineup? Any surprises? Anything we sort of wasn't expecting, or do you think maybe Jonas might have made a few more changes for that game?
yeah, I've got to think back now. That feels like a lifetime ago. But I think I expected Sabrina D'Angelo to start, obviously with it being her last game. Maybe would have expected Viv to start, but obviously the injury played into that, didn't it? And yeah, we'll get to her coming on and having her moment. But yeah, overall, really good game. Sort of game that maybe we'd kind of played in that way in previous games and not got that result, if that makes sense. But we got the 5 goals, which I don't think I was expecting. But yeah, really, really good game.
Did you see anything tactically that Jonas did different, or was it just sort of, I don't want to say the same old, but was it just sort of, usual?
Yeah, I think a combination of the two. I think same old in terms of the way that we were trying to score the goals. I think we're a bit more clinical than we have been, and we've complained about that all season, not taking our chances. We definitely took them a lot more in that game. I think Russo playing in the box as well. We've seen her presence in the box a lot more in recent games, and that's contributed to her goal scoring. I think it's helped the team in general just to score goals, get the results. But yeah, just a lot more clinical in general, I think.
Obviously people hopefully watching would know, but where was your view of the game on Saturday, Daisy?
Oh, it was an amazing view from the press box. Yeah, very lucky to go with the Goon. I'm showing off now. This is an Arsenal fans podcast, guys. I'm not above you all. But yeah, it was really good. I got to be pitch side, got to be up in the heavens of Meadow Park, if you can call it that. But yeah, really, really good game. Good experience to me too.
Yeah, no, it's great. We're all very proud of you. I'm going to come to Mel. Mel, talk us through your day. We know about the match. We know what happened. What time did you leave? What time did you get there? What time did you hit the pub? Yeah.
What time did I get there? I left my house at like 5 o'clock. Landed in Gatwick, I think it was like 8:45 or something. Made my merry way to the pub straight from Gatwick, bag in tow. Didn't even check into my hotel until like 11 o'clock at night, I think. I want to say my first Jaeger bomb was consumed at about 11:30. Could be wrong, but we had to get a train to St Albans. We had to get an Uber from St Albans to Meadow Park. It was eye-opening. That back road from St Albans to Meadow Park is not a fun time. So for players and staff to drive that every time we play there, fair play to them, because that was hell. I had a great time. I think last game of the season is always a good day out, regardless of the result. Obviously, last year we lost to Villa. I could tell you who the 2 goal scorers were, but I couldn't tell you when they scored or how they scored, because last game of the season, I feel like unless we've got the league to play for, is very much just the good vibes and getting the crack with everybody before we go on our little summer sabbatical and reignite the chaos in September when the games come back.
Yeah. I thought it was quite an emotional day. What about for you, Chantel? How was your day?
Yeah, no, I feel like our running theme is that Saturday seems like it was forever ago. I don't know whether it's my old age or if it's just that so much happened during the game and even after the game of like the farewells and that lot that a part of me don't want to remember what exactly happened, but I'm with Mel. Like the good vibes, no matter what happened, I was just living for it, and it was just fun, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was a good day. Andrew, what did anyone sort of like performances stand out for you? Anyone you were sort of impressed by on the day?
I mean, I think it was one of those kind of end of term feel, and I don't think anyone kind of really shone out. It's nice to see Frida's goal. It was really well taken. There was moments, I suppose. I think going back to what Daisy and Daisy tells the people that she treats us normally now, but we all have to call her mom when we're not on there. Just so that you know that there is definitely a hierarchy now. But yeah, I think echoing what Daisy said, I think Russo, not just in that game, but you can see her. She's kind of getting more Steiner-esque in her positioning, which is clearly what Jonas wants, and she's getting more of those 6-yard, 18-yard box goals now. And and you're starting to see what Jonas always talks about the clinical finisher. Some of her strikes are just so pure. It's like it's almost you could slide rule. She knows exactly where that ball's going to connect on her foot and how. And we're beginning to see kind of what Jonas saw in her, and drifting away from that 9-10 hybrid that she likes. And I get it. I know, she's one of those that gets frustrated if she's not getting the service. But now, hopefully, she's seen the results of that and getting the rewards, and absolutely banging in goals for fun at the moment. So that was. I didn't get to the game. I decided I'm a family man, and it was like cash in some daddy points and do the right thing there, and be ready for next season.
How, like say Daisy, I come to you. I mean, if we were sort of analysing Russo's season, I mean, how do you think she's been for her first season? I also think to say, well, look, she's maybe at the start of the season we wasn't giving her enough service, and like I say, like Andrew said, she was getting a bit frustrated. Would you think, say, as the season has gone on, maybe she's found a little bit more freedom and she's developed into that number 9 that we desperately wanted?
Yeah, I think so. And I think I'm one of the people who was defending her on Twitter when I saw a lot of people saying that she'd had a not so good season. Because I think if you think about the team as a whole, maybe we haven't at times had the best season. We've had moments where the service has not been there, like you say. She's been doing everything. Like if you notice, she'll drop deep, she'll play out wide, she'll move out wide, and now more recently she'll get in the box. But I think people tend to see it as well. If she doesn't score however many goals, then she's not played well. Obviously, I think we'll start to see Russo play more as a number 9. That's what Jonas said. That's what we've seen in recent games. But I don't think that takes away. She'll never stop, will she? She'll never stop being that kind of player that wants to be involved in all phases of play. And I don't think that we should necessarily, stop her from doing that, because I think it adds so much value to the team. And obviously with Stina staying as well, that they're only going to build those relationships together on the pitch, and it's only going to get better. And also, it's her first season, so you've got to give her benefit of the doubt to settle into the team, to get to know players, and work with different people and things like that. So that plays into it too.
I think, Chantel, do you feel that I mean, she's only going to get better next season. The more she sort of develops, and the more, like I said, she needs a bit more service. I think that's apparent definitely from the left. What's your thoughts on Russo's season?
Yeah, no, I think like she came in halfway through the season in the January window, so like the team's already getting their flow, so she's had to come into that, and then she had quite a tough game when we played Man U in their home turf with the Boone and that lot. But since then, she's building them relationships with players. It's going to take her time, but towards the end of the season, she's been scoring goals. At times, she's made key like defense tackles, and I think next season it can only get better for her. I think with the like relationship things, like obviously we talked about our midfield and our number 10 role, and how that's been kind of swapping around and who's been playing in there this season. So she's not really had a fully constant person to rely on to feed her them balls, and then she's playing deeper as well. So I think next season, once we've got our position sorted, I think she's going to be scoring goals like how she is now, just for fun.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so for me, I could really, obviously lots of quite rightly deserved player of the season, but I think Russo has been definitely one of our top 3, top 4 performers for this season, no doubt about it. Obviously, she come in with a lot of pressure on her to be that number 9, to perform, and I think she's had a really, really good season. And we're just looking. I think if I'm right, Mel, you might know, you're good with the stats, that it's been her best goal scoring and assist season.
Yeah, I think it's been the season where she's had most direct goal involvement. Obviously, at Man United, I think she was more involved directly in scoring goals rather than the role she's taken up with herself, where she is more, like Daisy was saying, she'll drop back, she'll float out wide. She's sort of delivering the service that she's expecting, that she's not getting to other players like Stina. But yeah, it's definitely one of her best, if not her best, season with involvement in goals and chances created.
And do you think it's a thing that since we have moved her up to the number 9, why she's looked so good is because Kim's playing at number 10?
Got to be. It's got to help, hasn't it? It has actually got to help. It'd be interesting to see sort of when everyone's fit and the team's settled where Kim goes, because she's kind of got that ability to play all 3 roles, in that midfield. But I think Kim has a massive influence. I still favour. Yeah, I'm not even sure it'd be interesting to see what it is, but I still favour Frida in that sense of going forward and being that number 10. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I think Kim's best position is. It definitely was the 8. I wonder now if it was interesting sometimes if we played the double pivot, her and Palova in some games, and maybe that's just a situational thing. If we've got in the bigger games. With whether it be Leah Valti and her sort of in the 6 that do the double pivot 6s. But yeah, back to the question. Yeah, wherever Kim plays, she's effective, and that's just priceless, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. I know, like Mel, we obviously need to somehow clone Kim, so we have another Kim. But do you think maybe moving forward for next season that the number 10 could be Kim's position? I mean, I think Vicky has sort of nailed on in a centre midfield position. I think her and Cooney Cross, maybe it's something we just stick with those 2. Obviously, maybe when Leah Valti is back as well. But I think we've got a good 3 for midfield there. That's not just no disrespect for Kim, but do you think maybe Kim in the number 10 has a little bit more freedom? She can influence the game a little bit more. Do you think, say, maybe for next season it could be for her position?
Yeah, I think, like Andrew was saying, like no matter where you put Kim Little on the park, she's going to make an influence. I think the City game's probably your best sort of idea of that, where we start her, and then she came in at half-time in the second half difference in the game, which then ended up in us winning, which is a bit of a bittersweet moment because we basically handed Chelsea the league there. But I don't know. It just, as long as Kim's on the pitch, I'm happy. I think no matter where we play her, she's got a wealth of experience behind her. I love when we play a midfield 3 of Kim, Wally, and Palova, but my only issue with that is out of the 3 of them, none of them will take a shot on goal. They're all quite happy to pass the ball around the box.
100%. Yeah.
They want to look for somebody else to. It's almost like they're forcing the space, which then gives the opposition time to get back. We're then fighting a very, very hard battle, but I think it's a tough one. It's not a job that I would like to have because you've got players like Frida, you've got Kim, you've got Wally, you've got Pelova, and that's a solid four. I think Cooney Cross still has a bit of development to go in her game. To start, she's obviously very good coming off the bench, but for her to be a main player that we focus on for 90 minutes, I don't think she's there or thereabouts yet. Today's game sort of proved that to me. She looked a bit lost in moments, but she's still young. She's still got a lot of development to go, and I think playing her alongside players like Kim and Wally, who have that wealth of experience in both Wally more the defensive centre mid role, and Kim both the defensive and the attacking centre mid. That's the kind of players you want on either side of a player like Cooney Cross to mould her into realistically what she's going to be or what she's being labelled as Kim's replacement when Kim does sadly eventually decide to hang up her boots.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, as Mel said, we did win Chelsea the league, so that was our sort of little leaving present to Emma Hayes. We would like to congratulate Chelsea on winning the league, but unfortunately we're not going to.
You're mad.
Well, we still, Darren, thanks for joining us. We were talking about just your opinions on it, about maybe for next season, about sort of Russo's improvement, goal scoring in the number 9, and about Kim playing in the number 10. What's your thoughts for that? Do you think she's better and deeper? Or?
Well, I was talking to a chap at the back of the stand on Saturday. What's Saturday? It wasn't the game. It seems so long ago now. And his name's Adam. He's a good chap. And he was remarking on the fact that this season, Russo has shown a lot of her build-up play is exceptionally good, but she hasn't really found the back of the net as much as we like. And then 5 minutes later, she scored twice. So she's obviously got it. We know she's got it. I'm a big fan of the Russo-Stina, and I really want to see those two progress next season. Now Rivers departed, I think them two are the way forward for our Russo 12. I think that's the way forward for the new season, is to have Russo and Stina playing up front. Can I just say a couple of things about that game? I don't know what you guys have said thus far, but I'm absolutely gutted that she wasn't playing. I understand she's got some kind of knock, but I'm also delighted that Sabrina got the final game. And didn't she play well? It's almost... I know she didn't want to be a second keeper, and I know that her and Manu were equal number ones in some people's eyes. And Jonas tried to share the love as much as he possibly could with both of them playing. But I don't think she was... Maybe it was her, maybe it was the club. I don't think she wanted to sit on the bench as much as she possibly did. And if the rumours are true, she does go to Villa. I really wish her the very best. And I'm sure when we see her, if we see her again, she'll get a great deal of support from the Arsenal fans. Midfield, I'm sure you've already said this already. I heard Mel saying something about KCC just now. I mean, again, I think we're seeing the future with her in the midfield. And I'm sure I heard Mel say before Kimmy hangs up her boots. So bedding her into the midfield is good. I don't know whether you've spoken about today's game, so I don't want to go too ahead of myself, but seeing Catherine back and playing well was also very encouraging. Sorry.
No, we haven't got that far yet. We're still on Saturday through the week, but yeah, we're going to.
Saturday, wasn't it, more than anything else? It didn't really matter about the result too much. It was all about having a good time, end of season party, and just give me something to, hold on to for that long summer break. Yeah,
I think it is a thing. So because the break is so long, so you can't really get your momentum to go into the next season. You feel like you won 3 or 4 games, and then you go into the next season with that momentum because the break is so long. Was it, I think, 21st of September is the first WSL game, which seems like, so it's a long time away. But yeah, no, you make a good point about Sabs. I think from day one, did she make a debut against Villa? I think from day one she's the fans have been on her side, and I think she's always been well supported. Do you think Days is Sab's going to be missed? Do you think we've been lucky to have 2 decent goalkeepers, so that's that sort of standard?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, exactly what Darren was saying, she's in the position now where maybe she isn't number one, and she should be. I think if she does go to Villa, that'll be a brilliant move for her because she deserves first team football. I always was one that really, really wanted her to push. No offense to Manu at all. I wanted her to push for that number one position because I think it was up for grabs. But yeah, I think you're right. She's always had support from the fans. I just think now she's at that point where she could really do well for a WSL side like Villa and start every week, especially if we, swap goalkeepers and Daphne comes the other way. Obviously, that's just a rumour at this point, but it could work out for both parties if that is what happens.
Yeah. But Chantel, do you think Sabs has been given enough opportunities, enough sort of chance to prove herself to establish?
I would love to see Sabs more, but sadly, we'll see her more in a different team. I think it's hard because where we were knocked out of the UEFA so early, there just wasn't really many games to share. But still, there were some games that I feel like Sabs could have started and Sinsberger could have taken a bit of a bench approach. But no, I think, like Daisy said, if she does go to Villa and we do a swap, obviously there's a lot of rumours around Villa's keepers at the moment, and Anna Leet is due a renew on her contract, which I don't think she's going to be re-signing. So it would be good for Sabs to then take the number one position, and then with Villa, like a lot of Villa's issues is that their goalies are their saviours, and Sabs will be their saviours.
Yeah, Sabs could potentially be player of the season next season if she
Golden Glove.
Golden Glove, yeah. Well, yeah, just save after save for next season. We've gone 22, nearly 23 minutes, and we haven't mentioned Viv until now. I sort of thought with Viv's cameo, should we say, for the last 20 minutes, that Jonas must have been there just thinking, or so frustrated, thinking, where's this been for the last two seasons? Because she was playing up front, she would drop deep, she had runners, Frida running off her, and Jonas must have just been thinking, I've missed this for the last two seasons, and this is the Viv that I wanted. I mean, what was your thoughts, Mel, with Viv's performance and everything for the day with Viv?
I think it's probably one of the best Viv performances we've seen in a while. I feel like if we got this Viv consistently, we probably wouldn't have been saying goodbye to her on Saturday. But yeah, it was very bittersweet for her to come on, score with her literal first touch of the ball in classic Viv fashion, as she always has done. But even just hearing the reception that she got, both when she came on, when she scored, and at the full-time whistle, and during her presentation, I think is probably one of the loudest I've heard Meadow Park. And my hands are in bits from banging on the back of the North Bank as much as I did, but I would do it again in a heartbeat to give Viv that reception and that send-off that she very much deserved.
Yeah, it was some wonderful drumming, must be said. It was good. But yeah, Andrew, I mean, watching Viv for that performance, so do you sort of again feel that Jonas has got the frustration to sort of think, well, we've missed this for the last two seasons, and like I say, if she was on the pitch more, that she wouldn't be leaving now.
Yeah, it was a lovely cameo, and the assist and the goal were kind of reminiscent. But I think Mel, I think you both kind of alluded to that. It's been, through the injury, and it seems to have taken forever, particularly when you compare. We've got a lot of other people to compare her with, where you see Beth and Leah have comebacks and have hit their stride, way before Viv really. But yeah, I think I get the sense there's more to it than just the performances on the field. Viv's quite a forthright person. I think she's going to be an amazing coach, and I just saw today that she's taken a license. I think, and I wonder if sort of fundamentally, her and Jonas weren't on the same page, and Viv's not the kind of person who can say yes, coach, and she needs to find someone who's kind of been maybe the more the style that she wants. So the football wasn't everything. I think, and I think we've seen it in interviews. I know Tim's come on the, Tim's famous interview where she just said when she, what was it? Well, it was raining and she said, I'd rather be inside, but then did stay around. And then, I think Tim asked her about the not being included in the World 11 when she was probably the best player in the world. And I think I think bullshit was the words that she used. So I think she's quite a forthright character. So I can imagine isn't afraid to challenge. And if she's not on the same page as a coach, and Jonas has got a very distinct style, he knows what he wants, and I don't think that's necessarily the way Viv naturally plays. And I wonder if that's kind of been some part of the issue. And obviously, as we've alluded to, the football's been sporadic for her. And it has been and I wonder, there's physio reports, there's other backroom reports as well that we aren't privy to. So whether the injuries, looking to take longer as well, who knows? But lovely cameo. That's the Viv we knew and could see and could just tear a defence apart, either individually or with the assists. But we move on.
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting. I think she was doing an interview. I think she's doing the Champions League hosting, isn't she? Tomorrow. And she was doing an interview for that. And it's the first time I'd heard her talking for a while, saying that, well, no, I'm a number 9. I'm not really a drop deep. And, when she moved to number 10 when we signed Stina, and it was, no, I'm a number 10. I always wanted to play number 10. And then it was the first time I sort of heard her go, no, I'm a number 9. I just like to drop deep. And it was a bit like, okay, bit of a change. Darren,
she likes the freedom. I think that's the thing. She likes the freedom and not necessarily the structure. Who knows?
Yeah, she likes the freedom, definitely. Darren, I know your thoughts on Viv. I know we've sort of been banging on a couple of weeks ago about how great Viv was, and the little 20-minute cameo was what Viv was doing consistently, sort of 2-3 years ago. But obviously, sort of wasn't available last week for. What's your thoughts with Viv? I mean, what did you think with the cameo? You sort of sad that she's going, she's been given a bit more opportunity. What's your thought? Remember, we've only got an hour show though.
What are you trying to say? I talk too much. I'll keep it short and sharp then. So when I made my debut, I mentioned the fact that I personally don't believe that Viv got enough love from the stands. So on Saturday, that was tremendous. That's the loudest I've ever seen, or heard, I should say, her name being chanted, and that was fantastic. If that is the Viv that you guys have known for the last 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons, then I can see why you're gutted that she's leaving. For me, that's only the 4th time I've ever seen her play live, and she was exceptional. She only had a 30-minute burst, cameo as you're calling it, but in that 30 minutes, she demonstrated everything that you need from a striker. Number 9 or number 10, I don't care, from a striker. She was exceptional. And yeah, I can see why you're going to miss her. However, for me, it's move forward, and the forward is with Stina and Alicia Russo. So we go on.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so that's what I was saying. I mean, it is for Jonas to sort of think, where has that been? And just for having a Viv for half hour, 20 minutes in some of the games this season, that would have made a bit of a difference. Chantel, I'm going to come to you, and it's bit of a put you on the spot question, really.
Oh God.
When I look around the squad, I mean, I think personally, say when you've got Russo and Stina have got, I think 16, 17 goals this season, which for your 2 strikers, I think is good. Obviously, next season we want that upped, but it's the conundrum of, I think, what did we have? Caitlin's got 4 goals, and I know Beth hasn't played a full season. The numbers are quite low. Vicky just doesn't like shooting for whatever reason. I mean, it's something we sort of need to address over the summer, looking for a bit more goals from midfield. I mean, what are your thoughts for that, with improving goals from around the team?
Well, it's just my pet peeve. It's shooting from outside of the box or on the edge of the box. I feel like this season we're passing it to get it so close to goal that we're either running it in or tapping it in. And I think on very rare occasion have we seen someone actually take a shot and it being on target, or it's actually making the keeper work where it's going to be like a fumble for then a rebound in. But I think definitely it's got to be looking at how we're getting either balls in for our strikers to score or taking a shot from like further out, because at the moment that's been my frustration this season, and I've been moaning week on week to my mates, and they're like, oh my god, please shut up. So like, if anyone's listening, shoot from outside the box.
Daisy, I mean, is it just purely just the style of play of the sort of pass style that, or do you think, say, it's something that obviously the players need coaching a little bit more for next season? Just like, I mean, like we need goals from, left, from Beth and from whoever's on the left side and from central midfield a little bit more.
Yeah, and I'm not against bringing somebody in who can score goals. I definitely think that could help. But I think watching today's game as well, I just noticed it has to be the system. It can't be the players, because everybody is doing the exact same thing. And that is the weirdest coincidence if everybody is now unable to score goals. I think we've seen glimpses of very, very few glimpses of midfielders, especially scoring goals from outside of the box, scoring goals from inside of the box even. But overall, like Chantel said, it's right. We're just passing it into the box. We're trying to basically pass it into the goal, and that can't be a sense of players just can't shoot. It has to be, this is the system, this is the tactics, and to change that next season, we've got to think. Maybe there's been chances. I think Palova hit the bar in one of them from a set piece at the edge of the box. Stuff like that. We've just got to tweak it slightly, so that maybe we're not scared to just say, actually, rather than overthinking that final pass, whether it's from Kimmy or Vic or even Wally when she comes back into the side, why don't we just take that on? And I think that's something that needs, it definitely comes from the tactics and the coaching and before the game even takes place.
Yeah. Well, but do you think, Mel, I mean, do you think we just need that maybe, I don't know, obviously a number 10 that could score a bit more, or a bit of box-to-box midfield, a left winger that could just get you that 10, 15 goals a season as well? I mean, what do you think is the resistance to shoot? Again, is it just the style or that they've coached, or?
I think it does very much come down to the style and how they've been coached, because like Daisy was saying, it's a very weird coincidence to have everybody on the team trying to force passes rather than hit them from distance. I mean, we've seen Emily Fox take 2 shots from distance, and she's been very unlucky both times. I think she had one tipped over the bar and one clipped the top of the crossbar and went over. But even this season, I can't think of any games where we've actually seen Katie McCabe take a shot from distance. And she is quite renowned for and rifling it into the top corner with her left foot when she's got absolutely no right to shoot from where she's shooting from. But yeah, I think it's very much forcing passes into the 18-yard box and the 6-yard box at times, and even forcing crosses when we don't need to. I think we force crosses a lot when we've got either our smaller players in the box, or little to nobody in the box, or you've got somebody like Russo with 2 or 3 defenders around her, and you're expecting her to jump on a step ladder to actually reach the ball and make the header. But yeah, I think there's making signings possibly could help another left wing to sort of challenge Caitlin Ford and things like that for their position. I think there's maybe a bit of complacency going on in the squad with some players who know that they're happy where they are. They don't have really anybody breathing down their neck trying to steal their spot from them. But I think we need to scrap this idea of everybody in the team has to touch the ball at least 5 times before we even think about taking a shot at goal, because it's getting a bit chronic now. Yeah.
I mean, Darren, you'll know. I mean, when I referred to the point of, Arsene Wenger's teams, when it was just pass, and nobody or everyone was afraid to shoot. Do you think it's just, I mean, as a simple thing of a signing of just get someone that could actually bang the ball in from outside the box, or is it just, a bit more with coaching, or?
Well, I think you touched on the point a little while ago. It's not or somebody did, sorry. It's not necessarily the players. It's the way they're being set up to play. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a controversial statement, but now that Patrick has been sent on his merry way, if we get a decent set coach coaching or a decent second coach to help Jonas, maybe the setup next season may be a little bit more dynamic approach of attacking the opposition's goal. But yeah, I mean, I think we said a couple of weeks ago, Nat, who was on the show a little while ago, one of her favourite chants is pass sideways, and she just does it on a repeat because that's all they do, and it's frustrating. And it is very akin to what the Wenger boys used to do during that 5-season period where we didn't really win much. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping next season, as I said, with a new coach coming in for set pieces as well, it may prove to be, the winning lottery ticket that we haven't had this season in front of the opposition's goal.
Yeah. I mean, I thought normally I feel quite well informed with the Arsenal women's team, but I actually didn't realise Patrick was a set piece coach. I thought he was just there as an assistant manager.
Well, I'm assuming I don't know either, but because he's
you're right. No, he was. He was. I didn't
is.
realise that was his job role because I mean, whoever's made the decision, quite rightly, I suppose, the fact that we are very weak from set pieces, and that's attacking and defending, that we needed a change.
Well, it's a setup play as well, isn't it? And I'm assuming on the on the training pitches, he has a lot to say with Jonas on how they set up for each and every game, depending on the opposition. So, a breath of fresh air, a new player coming in, a new coach coming in may prove to be what we needed going forward. Time will tell, I guess. Time will tell.
Yeah. I mean, Daisy, do you think Patrick could be missed, or do you think players are sort of like, yeah, okay, move on, next person?
Yeah, I think we've got to be like that, haven't we? If we want, as awful as that sounds to Patrick, I'm sure it's not him individually. It's just the job that he was probably given. And yeah, we have said you have to be more, like harsh, bring people in who are going to make a difference. I mean, set pieces this season, we've talked about them so much. We've said how awful they've been at times, and if he's responsible for being the set piece coach, unfortunately he takes the hit, doesn't he? And we really do need to prioritise that next season. Like Darren's saying, we need to bring somebody in, or give somebody that job who is gonna, who maybe somebody. We look at other teams. I think somebody mentioned that before. Maybe we look at other teams who have a successful set piece coach. I mean, Liverpool against Chelsea, just how many goals did they score from set pieces? Like somebody like that makes a real difference to the coaching team, and definitely could. The amount of goals that we could score from set pieces. I know we're going to miss Ilestead because she, a set piece queen, but we've still got other players who definitely could be doing better from set pieces. I mentioned the pullover on the edge of the box. I think we had in one of the cup games, we had Leah Volti on the edge of the box scoring. So it's just little tweaks like that can add 1 or 2 goals and could like every game and could completely change the season.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think as the fans will, Patrick was a great character and he was always sort of mixing and talking with the North Bank. So, I think in that way he will be missed. But Mel, do you think maybe with Patrick leaving and obviously with Viv that this is a bit part of maybe a summer plan of a bit more Arsenal being a little bit more ruthless? We think that we might maybe see a few other players leaving or other sort of staff members leaving to challenge better next season.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping the fact that we've let Viv walk away for free, and we've now let Patrick walk away as well. Like Daisy was saying, we need to look at teams like Liverpool who have a set-piece coach who's quite clearly making a difference, to see if we can find somebody either within the club or out with the club that can come in and make that difference for us. Set pieces have definitely been one of our biggest downfalls this season, be it corner kicks, free kicks, everything like that. We've not looked challenging from any. Usually we get a free kick on the edge of the box, and I'd be thinking there's a very high chance this is going in here. Whereas this season has very much been a chance of this is probably going to get crossed at the box, the defender's going to win it, and we're going to be back to square one where we've wasted a promising position. I feel like we definitely do need to strengthen the squad, both on the pitch and off the pitch. Reasons now we've made a couple signings here and there, but I can't see us doing a full overhaul, like a very dramatic. We'll kick out X amount of players. We'll bring in some more big names. I think we're at the stage now where we need to bring on our younger talent. Bring in some more. We need to progress the young talent that we've got, who are proven, like in the game today, that they are very good players and that they deserve to have a chance to play on on the big level of the WSL rather than us putting them off to the championship like every season.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, just moving on a little bit. Obviously, we did play a game this morning or last night, if you're watching in Australia, against the A-League Stars, was it? A-League 11. But yeah, I mean, I've come to you, Andrew. You know, maybe again putting you on the spot. I don't know if you watched the game. I mean, what were your thoughts of the lineup that we had and the performance? And...
Yeah, not being able to see it yet, but I've caught a lot of the highlights, and obviously the WhatsApp and the Twitter group kept me away from my work a little bit. But great to see some of the youngsters going out. You know, you could see the priority was the box office. You know, this was a good promotional tour for the Arsenal. I think it was Caitlin who said it felt like a home game for the Arsenal with the amount of fans we've got there. So it's interesting to see that we're building up a fan base there. So it makes sense, that we went out there. But it seems, Katie didn't realise it wasn't a cup final, and was going around sort of kicking players in the air as Katie will do. Probably figured out that she wasn't going to get a yellow or a red today, so took full advantage. But I thought it was great for Viv Leah to get her goal. Although, to be fair, the marking for that goal was that's one I saw where she was able to take a touch, have a look up, pinpoint the cross, and there was Alessia Russo just sort of stood in between two defenders. To be fair, a really well taken, the header from Alessia was superb. Again, I talked about the sort of like the technical ability that she has. That header was just perfect where she put it in. But yeah, great to see so many youngsters, and it sounds like that they all had a really good showing. But I suppose going forward, it's going to be interesting to see where the loans go. Will Kathy Cool go back out on a loan? Do we keep Michelle Agyemang, or does she sort of go to a kind of an Everton, Aston Villa kind of team? And Taya Goldie. I mean. You keep forgetting that she even plays for us these days. She's been so unfortunate with her injuries. So, it looks like a really strong side. They did really well from what I've seen.
Yeah. Did you manage to watch it, Chantal, with fitting in with work? What were your thoughts on the match?
If my boss is saying this, I didn't watch it. But I did manage to watch it. I may have got interrupted by a couple of the kids, but I think it was nice to see that even though it was a friendly, they weren't taking their gas off the pedal. Like, they were still being aggressive, closing like counters or plays down so that A-League didn't really have a chance. And then you just saw like the younger players playing with confidence. They seemed quite calm and collected about the game. And like with the goal, it just seemed like it was a bit of a slow motion goal for me. Like, you just see her come out into so much space. The way she like crosses it in, it just seemed perfect. And then there's Russo that has timed her jump to perfection to just get into the back of the net. I don't think you could write a better sync up to get that goal. But yeah, no, I think it was quite nice to see the younger players like Taya back. But yeah, no, it just felt kind of different, this game did. I don't know why, but it just seemed like everything was just going well for us for once.
Yeah, I mean, a terrible pitch, but it was great to at the start to hear North London Forever in Melbourne, which is really great. I mean, Daisy, do you think we can read much into the performances for this game? I mean, I thought it was quite interesting that Katrina sort of come back, went straight into the starting lineup and played on the right. And I thought she played really well. I mean, do you think that's maybe a position she could play next season for us?
Yeah, I think we're in a really tough predicament, aren't we, in terms of players that we really want to maybe start to get into this first team, but then if we keep them, we don't play them, we're sort of hindering their progression as well. So it's this tough decision that the club has to make. I definitely think, Cole is one of the ones we really have to consider. Is she going to play? Is she in Jonas's plans? It's the same with Katie Reid, and I thought obviously she got player of the match. She was absolutely brilliant. She really held her own, and as the only proper centre back that was in that team, she just took the game like she'd been playing. But I think you kind of expected that from her, because the glimpses we have seen of Katie Reid, obviously at Watford as well, that's the kind of player that we know we're getting. I think she's one we really might have to consider next season. Are we going to let her go and play every single week, or are we going to keep her and use her? I just really wouldn't want to see these players being wasted on the bench, not getting opportunities. And I thought, Naomi as well came in, did her shift in goal, and actually kept the clean sheet and made a good save. So it's just about making those decisions, really. I really want these players to continue to progress and get better. But if that's not going to be at Arsenal right now, then we definitely shouldn't keep them and just keep them on the bench the whole time.
Darren, did you get a chance to watch it? I mean, who impressed you?
I did watch it, but I missed 15 minutes of it, and also missed the goal during that period, which was I still haven't seen the goal, so I don't know what happened there. But I wanted to highlight 3 players, of which 2 Daisy's already done. For 60 minutes, Jonas out was massively in my front of my mind. And then he eventually brought on Naomi Williams. That was my favourite part of the game. The second part, as I said in the group earlier on, is that magnificent save she made. She's definitely one for the future, and I hope we don't mess around with her. Whoever comes in as the number 2 keeper, we need to keep hold of Naomi Williams. The future captain, in my opinion, of Arsenal, Katie Reid, was exceptional. She was just
She was good.
beyond her years. It was amazing. And Taya Goldie, she can spin on a sixpence, can't she? I mean, some of those interceptions she was making. I've never seen Taya Goldie play, by the way, chaps. First time I've ever seen her. Wow. And I know we only got a small glance of her, but I was massively impressed with her. And all the youngsters in general were fantastic. And there's a tough decision to be made next season, what we do with these guys. I think we had this discussion last week or the week before. They're too good to go to the Championship. They have to be, if they're going to be loaned out, they simply have to go to a WSL team.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, this is, I'm going to ask Mel this question first, but then come to everybody. This is one of Dan's dodgy questions. Mel, starting with you, would you sacrifice the WSL next season or a decent league campaign for giving the youngsters a chance to grow and stay at Arsenal and develop? Or do you think it is that we have to loan them out? And of course, we've got to win the WSL something big next season, or do you think we could actually just develop these players? I thought Brad Godfrey, when she came on, looked really good, and they just seem to have a bit of freedom. They enjoy playing, big smiles on their faces, and maybe when you've got a pool of players like that, you just keep them, let them develop a little bit more, and then you've got your team for the next 10 years, really.
I feel like we can keep a select few. I wouldn't keep all of them to risk another, try not to swear here, another awful WSL campaign. I feel like we've had too many terrible campaigns on the bounce now that season, even if we need to launch the league, we can't lose to a team like Liverpool in our opening game of the season again to then claw it back over the coming weeks to then go rapidly downhill. I feel like we need to have a consistent level. Obviously, the young ones need to develop. They need to develop in the WSL, like we've all said. But I wouldn't keep them at the risk of not challenging the WSL next season.
What about you, Chantal? Do you feel the same, or?
Yeah, I think we've done well to have the Conti Cup, but we can't just keep taking that as silverware each season and being happy with that. We've got to either go for the FA Cup, the league, or even just go further into the UEFA, because it's getting a bit annoying just going, oh yeah, we've got the Conti, so we're safe, we've got some silverware, but is it keeping like a strong defender like Katie and then a promising striker like Michelle to grow them into the style and syncing up with the women to then have that, and then the rest of them go to other WSL teams to build their minutes like Cool has, and like she's had a great season this year, and she's come back and played, and it just shows how having them minutes in another team really does make that difference, which I think the younger players are going to need.
Yeah. What do you think, Daisy? I mean, do you think, I know there's quite a big pool of sort of 17, 18, 19-year-old players there. Now, obviously, I think, did we have 7 academy players, I think, that ended up finished the match? Do you feel that we could have them 7 more incorporated into the squad? Obviously, they're not all going to make it at the top level, but do you think there is definitely players in there that, I just say for it, just pick out a name, for example, just say that if you did have Michelle and you could say off, and you didn't have Caitlin or something, they're at that level that they could replace the current first team players.
Yeah, looking at the academy players that we saw today, I don't know if any of them would make it into the starting 11 at this point. But if you take, like you say, Michelle, for example, there's no saying that she wouldn't get minutes, not just games, not just starts, but minutes in the game if we need a goal. Same with Katie Reid. When we're looking right now thinking, oh, do we need a centre-back in the summer? Do we need a centre-back in the summer, or are we looking at one that we could already develop and she could help us and we could help her? There are certain ones. I mean, we saw a bit of Layla Harbert today. I thought she was really, really good. I thought she looked like one of the more mature ones in that side. I'm not sure if she's one of the younger ones. But I don't think she's at that point when we're looking at that stacked midfield. She's not going to get game time. And potentially, if she's younger as well, she's got even more time to go on loan, develop, come back. And then who knows what position we'll be in with midfielders leaving in next season or the season after that. So yeah, certain players definitely can make it in, but others maybe not at this point.
Yeah. Andrew, I mean, I know the sort of classic quote of you win nothing with kids. But do you think, do you think Jonas has enough with a fan base to sort of feel that he could risk playing a few more, and the fans might be patient enough that if we were losing games with young players in, they'd be forgiving?
No. No.
Right, move on.
We have to win the WSL next year. This is our best chance for a long time. We've proven we can beat Chelsea. We've proven we can beat Man City. What we haven't proven is that we can be consistent. Chelsea are going to be disrupted, obviously. No matter who they bring in, there's going to be disruption there. And I think we've got a settled squad. I honestly didn't think we would win this year anyway. I was still disappointed that I would have hoped to have gone a lot further into the season. But I think that if we're going to kind of throw old adages out, if they're good enough, they're old enough, and you look at Grace Clinton, what she's done on loan, and then she's going to go back into poor woman going from Tottenham to Man United. I don't know, out of the frying pan into the fire. But yeah, I think Daisy's right. I think that none of them were quite ready for to be really pushing any of the first 11, and it would be rotational stuff or maybe dead rubber games, and maybe at this stage they all need a lot of time. But I think equally I agree with what was said about they need to be in the WSL rather than the Championship, and certainly not. And if they are in the Championship, maybe not. No disrespect, not London or Watford. But the flip side of that is because they're so young, we probably don't want to be loaning them out too far out of London. Some of them have still got school to think of and elements of that. So, and I think, as you were saying, David, I think Kathy Cool is the one that we've got to kind of is got to look over at Grace Clinton and see what she did, and that's what we expect. Get that ball retention. She's clearly gifted, clearly gifted and incredibly good with the technical, but it's about ball retention for me with Kathy. But yeah, we're going to win the league.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Yeah, 24th of May. Andrew has predicted we're going to win the league, so that's good. Darren, what do you think? I mean, do you think Jonas is brave enough, just a creature of habit, that he would, throw these young players on if things aren't going well in a game? Do you think, or he's just going to stick to what he does all the time?
Well, I don't think he has the room in order to be able to keep all of them anyway. We're only allowed to register, was it 25 players or something like that? Yeah, so we haven't got the room for them all. So if I was Jonas, I would keep Katie Reid, and she would get more than enough minutes, in the FA Cup, the Conti Cup, and the odd league game. If we've got our defenders are prone to injuries, we know. So I think we should keep her around. She's more than good enough to start a game, in my opinion. The rest, as we've all discussed thus far, they need to go out to a decent team to be, for their. I think Andrew's right. They need to be in and around the London area, so they're still full part of the Arsenal family as such. And also, they're young guys and their progress can be monitored and charted by the Arsenal hierarchy. So I think that's important. But it does, in my opinion, have to be a WSL team. 23 players can be registered, says Andrew. Okay. So we haven't got room for them anyhow.
No. But yeah, so I don't know, is that thing of just, is there definitely with Katie Reid that she deserves the opportunity? I mean, I would say obviously at the start of the season, they're not going to register, for obvious reasons, Amanda, are they? So there's maybe for all of next season that we could have Katie Reid in there. It's hopefully we will be in the Champions League, so there might be some opportunity for some games there. But yeah, just for when it's rare when you've got a good pool of young players that it is worth giving them that opportunity to progress and see what they can do, because they've got that enthusiasm, and sometimes that can take you quite a long way, really, and it's worth some sort of tapping into. But then I'm not necessarily sure or who even is the right person to work with the younger players to develop. Our last little bit was that was Monday's news. I'm going to go to Mel. We had some good news on Monday for Stina, and Arsenal, I think, put a really nice video with her teammates, and what a great character she is, and it's great to sort of work for. I mean, that was obviously good news, Mel, wasn't it, for Stina staying, which we all hoped.
I have never been so excited. When the announcement came out on Tuesday, I was in the middle of a field outside Manchester, and I had no service. So I had my friend Hannah, who is a massive Stina fan, to the point where she's actually got the number 25 tattooed on the inside of her arm now, that she sent me like 32 texts, and I got them all a couple hours later when I finally got a couple bars of service. And she was this close to being like, I'm going to get on a train to Manchester and find you so I can tell you this news, because you can't go this long without knowing. Obviously, I feel like with Viv leaving, it maybe became a bit more obvious that we were going to keep Stina, but then there was a tiny little bit in my brain that thought maybe we won't, maybe we'll let her go to two new strikers. But yeah, I think Stina this season's really cemented her place in the squad for me. I think she's a cult favorite. Everybody loves her. Even from that video, the squad all love her. To get her for however long we've got her on this contract extension is always a bonus.
Yeah, definitely. Good news, Chantal. We was all happy with that. Obviously, it was big relief for everybody.
Yeah, I think obviously there was like rumours of other teams like that were leaning to taking her, but I'm just, until it's ever signed, I'm never fully 100% confident. So it was nice to finally get that out and done. She's obviously saved Arsenal many times this season with coming back or scoring the winning goals. So she is a player that you need to keep and you need to have on your team.
Yeah, no, definitely. Do you think, Daisy, that she's signed to for the love that she's getting for the club, or do you think it is just, to play for Jonas that was the big thing for her, that just to carry on with what she started, and she's obviously developed a lot under Jonas in the time that she's been here. Do you think that was just the main thing?
I think a bit of both, really. I think most players at Arsenal tend to credit the fans and the reception that they receive as one of the reasons why they love the club and they stay at the club. But I think with all the offers coming in from other big clubs, she was probably speaking to the club and to Arsenal and saying, I need to be starting a lot more games next season. She probably wants to feature a lot more than she has, especially if those clubs that were coming in for her were going to make her their number 9, and she's going to play every week. So I expect to see Stina start a lot more next season. And I think she deserves that, really, doesn't she? Like we've said, she's a great player. She's done a lot for Arsenal. I just really hope she gets the minutes that she deserves now that she's signed this contract.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan, Darren. Good news, you're pleased. Obviously, with Stina staying, this sort of helps the progression with the club, doesn't it? We keep big name players.
Yeah, I was incredibly happy to read that news Monday or Tuesday, whenever it was. Yeah. I've said everything I need to say about Stina. Every time I've been on the show, I praise her to the hilt and back. She is an amazing player, an amazing human being, and I'm just so excited she's staying. I hope she signed a long contract. I don't know if everybody knows how long she signed for, whether it's just a year's extension or not. I think
it's short contracts in a sort of women's football more, really. Is that sort of 2 years, 3 years, maybe max? I think it's normally short-term contracts.
But then we all know contracts mean nothing in football also.
Yeah.
But I'm happy. I'm delighted she's staying. I can't wait to see her, as Daisy said, start more games than not next season. Yeah,
no, definitely. I think Andrew as well, with obviously the sort of pictures maybe going around with Laura, hopefully extending the contract, which hopefully release or let us know about next week. I mean, it's sort of, we're tying players down. We're sort of, are building for next season. I mean, it's all positives after the, obviously with the stadium move, but with Viv leaving, it is moving forward.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of buy-in from the players. I mean, this is properly Jonas's team now. I think he's either bought them all or re-signed them all. So there's buy-in from the players. They're all getting it. Yeah, and that'd be great for Laura down. And we're slowly getting where we've got kind of 2 players for every position. We're kind of fully stacked for a Champions League offensive as well as a league offensive, and it's quality that we've got in both positions, for both players at each position. There's nobody you would feel particularly worried about going into a big game. I mean, that's what Stina is. Stina's your backup striker, and she is as clutch as they come. You look at all our biggest games, all our biggest wins, and she's the one that's been up there scoring up. And now I think Darren mentioned in that video, which I still haven't got through to the end of because I just seem to develop some kind of hay fever and my eyes water up. But everyone sort of attests to kind of Stina's character. They say how humble she is, and and that's the kind of player you want in a team as well. But yeah, there seems to be a cohesiveness. We're building relationships in the teams as well, and so. Just to reiterate, if I haven't made it clear, we're going to win the WSL next year.
No, I think, like I say, we're very lucky to have Alessia and Stina as 2 strikers. I mean, there aren't any other team in the WSL that have that sort of ability. Even now with our right backs, we are lucky. So yeah, the squad is, like you say, it is Jonas' squad now, and it is like we say, we're going to win the Champions League next season. So it's
steady on.
Yeah, let's go for it.
And if it is Jonas's team and we win nothing next year, then he's got no answers, has he?
To be fair, no. To be fair,
no.
I agree.
If we've won nothing this time next year, we'll be having a 3-hour show on who will be the next manager. I think just as a little bit to finish, because I know it's an Arsenal show, but we do talk about other things as well. But don't worry, it's not Chelsea. Mel, who are you going to watch the Champions League final tomorrow? Lyon or Barcelona? Who and why?
What time's the kick off? Because I might be too drunk to even
make it even. I mean, just to watch Viv, there's not commentating, but just being part of the TV.
Yeah,
crew.
no,
It's gonna be lovely.
I've got my own team's award night at half past six. Half past six. Sorry,
Awesome.
checking with my admin in the corner. My brother's lurking in the background.
Yeah.
I've got her agent with her, so it's she can check.
So-
bookings.
I have no idea what time it kicks off. 7? Apparently kicks off at 7. So I don't know why you're not in here. You seem to know more about this than I do. But yeah, I won't be watching. I'll be looking for updates on my phone, but I am very much more focused on the good old bring back of, you can't call it the Old Firm anymore, it's the Glasgow Derby, kicking off at 2 o'clock. So that'll be my football I'll be tucking
That's
into
your
tomorrow
football for
afternoon.
Saturday. Okay, but as a preference, I just Leon or Barcelona, we don't care.
I really don't care. They've both won it too many times for my liking now. There's players on both teams I have a soft spot for, but there's also players on both teams that I detest with my whole being. So, like when Spurs and United play each other in the FA Cup final, I hope both teams lose.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Chantel, you're going to be watching. Do you care who wins or?
Depending if I'm not drunk like Mel, then I probably will be watching. I've got to back up our Lionesses, and I'm gonna sway towards Barcelona.
Yeah. Daisy, what about you?
Yeah, I think Barcelona, and I'm with Mel. It's the players I don't like Lindsay Horan, who I want to lose. So yeah, anyone but Leon. I'll go with Barca.
Andrew, you going to be watching it? You have a preference?
I won't watch it live, but I will watch the recording. And I think it's, as we're saying, it's not a most romantic lineup, is it? It's the same old teams. I think.
I mean, it could have been worse though. It could have been worse, if Chelsea had made it. So
100%.
That's the least thing.
That's actually a good way of framing it. Actually, yeah. But I think Barcelona will be pretty comfortable, to be fair. Yeah.
Darren, will you watch it?
I will be watching it, and there is some method to my madness when I say Leon.
Okay. What's the method?
Matty will then become disillusioned with Barcelona. Leah Cadena will talk her into the Arsenal squad.
Yes, I like it. Yeah.
We'd have to put her out on loan though, wouldn't we? Because she can't break into the. She'd have to go to kind of.
Send her to Everton. It'll be fine.
I think Leon as well, though, because at least Barcelona would have won it the same amount of times as Arsenal then as well. I think they've only won it once, haven't they, Barcelona? Am I right in thinking? Hopefully. Yeah, at least we've all won it at the same time then. But of course, Arsenal are the only English team to win the Champions League, for anyone that didn't know. No, apparently Chelsea never won it. You'd think they've just never won it. We are the only team, but yeah. So we'd like to thank everybody for watching. And if you're watching it back on YouTube in the week, we hope you enjoy the show. So if you do have any comments, you can contact us on Twitter and contact George and say when you're going to reappear on the show instead of gallivanting every single week. But yeah, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us. I'd like to thank Darren. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, and some very good retro shirts tonight. But Dan, you win the award.
Thank you, Andrew. Losing marks for no retro shirt.
It's too cold, man. It's too cold. I don't know what. We're looking forward to this summer break, but what? It feels like it's January here. Yeah. Good night, Gooners.
Daisy, you gone with the classic. I know you didn't have a lot of warning, but still, we love that shirt.
Yeah, it's better than no shirt like some, hey. But
oh, crikey! Shots fired.
She's preparing for it.
Chantel, another classic as well.
Thank you.
And Julie Fleeting.
I just had to do a dramatic taking off just to really show off the.
Wow, look at that. So that is the winner
of this top.
But yeah, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We hope you have enjoyed the show, and we will see you same time next week. Yeah.